Hello, everyone, and welcome to Oklahoma History and Film. All
Nice.
right, I think that's going to be our intro from now on.
That's good. I like that.
Welcome, everybody, to our brand new show that we are bringing to you. This is going to be a podcast about Oklahoma films that were filmed in Oklahoma exclusively.
Yeah, we're going to try to bring some light to the really good filmmakers here in Oklahoma because it's not just Hollywood anymore. It's not just Hollywood or Toronto. It's or Atlanta. It's Oklahoma now too.
Exactly. And I am your host. My name is Christopher Gazaway. I am a former professional wrestler turned actor, stunt performer, and I occasionally moonlight as a production assistant, so I can afford to pay the bills.
Yeah. And I am Christopher Coldthorne. I am also a former professional wrestler. And yeah, I guess technically I was in a couple movies too. Not quite to the same degree as him, but
You do have an IMDb.
yeah, I cameoed. I got the privilege of cameoing in a couple of fun movies, so that was great for me.
And we are gonna straight out of the gate. We're gonna kick off with like one of the hottest Oklahoma films to ever any production like to ever be brought to Oklahoma. And of course, we are talking about none other than 1996's Twister.
You hear those top-notch special effects sounds that we got here.
Twister, starring Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt,
Yes.
and directed by Jan de Bont. This, for me, was I think the first biggest Oklahoma production, or the biggest Hollywood production to ever be brought to Oklahoma for me.
Yeah, as a kid, I don't remember it like off the top of my head any like I don't want to say cool, but as a kid, I thought this way. I don't remember any cool movies taking place in Oklahoma, and I lived in California at the time and was from Oklahoma, so I hadn't experienced any of this stuff. So to me, it was almost like this was on par with like Jurassic Park or something. This was like a monster. I just like I didn't realize this was real.
So you hadn't experienced real Oklahoma weather then?
No, I mean I got 2 years later. I once got turned away from a storm shelter, so I've had those fears. Anyone living in Oklahoma, if you ever had to hide in a bathtub in the middle of your house, it's very scary. But you don't. I didn't realize it. It's like almost laughing at him, like the monster from that movie Twister is gonna eat our house. Sure, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You have a dinosaur alert, a zombie alert too, while you're at
an
it.
F5, like that's a real thing.
That's
Okay.
a wrestling move, dude.
But okay, yeah. So you saw it when it first came out, then?
Yeah, I got to see it in the theater, and let me tell you real quick. My dad, he was such a cinephile, loved movies. That when we go to a video store, the drive to the video stores when that would be the trailer. He'd be selling me on it. Well, he heard about Twister, and he would be hyped for a lot of movies, Conan, Mad Max, stuff like that. But no movie was he ever more excited for than Twister. He got newspapers, clippings about it. It took me to the theater to see it. He was so excited. I think the only thing he didn't like was he couldn't talk during the movie. But he informed me, he's like, these are real things. They exist in the place where you were born. They're not out here in California so much, but they do exist. And it's like, yeah, sure, old man.
Wow.
Sure, they're real.
Like for me, I was living in Oklahoma at the time. I think in Jinx, Oklahoma. That's a little suburb in Tulsa. And for me, yeah, this was the first big Hollywood production I ever heard come into Oklahoma, and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever because, I mean, we're '80s babies, and we grew up. We didn't have helicopter parents. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no.
We were kind of the latchkey kids, so we were raised in front of the television a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, the TV kind of raised me. So whenever I first saw this movie, I thought it was like the greatest thing ever. And I did, I had a couple of friends in school, it had been middle school or something, and at the time, they were kind of like making fun of me, like, oh, it was a cheesy movie or whatever, but, I didn't care.
I mean, it is, but it's still good.
Because it was Oklahoma, I didn't give a shit.
The hardest hurdle for me as a kid in liking it as much as other people is because I was used to movies with they had action figure lines and stuff. And this one, although I would say this one, you could easily take the Jurassic Park action figures, repaint them, make them into Twister. You don't need a monster. You can just have your kids like put a fan in front of them or something. But yeah, this was such a big deal. This was tied to like Steven Spielberg and stuff.
Yeah, I think he was. He ended up being one of the producers on it. I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and Michael Crichton. I just mentioned Jurassic Park. I think he wrote the script.
oh wow. And well, speaking of like directors and things, I did hear rumors that Jan de Bont was like a nightmare to work with on this.
Yeah, the last few days I've been watching behind the scenes stuff, and apparently that's the case. But you know what?
He shoved an actor, or no, he shoved a crew member or something.
Yeah, at one point he just said, "F it, I'll take over the lighting," because all the lighting crew walked out.
That's right. Yeah.
I will say that like these are fun to talk about, but as a fan, it's like man, I don't care because the movie was great. So it's like I kind of like don't care if he was like not the greatest guy to work with because look what came out of it.
No, as a guy that works like in film, I like hearing those stories because it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know. Like if I were ever working on a set and some guy came up and pushed me, I don't know how that's gonna go, man.
Yeah.
You might have to find a new director.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, back to the film. So the movie starts out and like it doesn't like mess around. It gets right into it,
Oh,
and
no, I love
you
when
see
movies that the opening of movies just jump you right into what's what.
you see young Joe being woke up in the middle of the night, by her mom and dad, and they like immediately, come on, Joe, we gotta go, and ask any Oklahoman like that. This is real. This
Yeah.
stuff happens, and one day your parents could bust through the door and say, "Come on, we gotta go," and you know what time it is. You know it's time to go to that cellar.
Yeah, and there's no time either.
Yeah.
That's something they do hammer home in the movie. Is like there's a warning system. Sure, they can be like, we think there's a deadly monster tornado in your area, but it could jump over one house and pick up a guy's cow. Like it's so unpredictable. It's another thing they mention over and over in the movie, and that's true. That's why it's so dangerous. It would be better if it was Godzilla. You could be like, well, we know Godzilla's going to go to the city center. He's going to destroy stuff. We know that. But it'd be like if Godzilla was like breakdancing and just hitting every other house. It's like, well, we can't plan for that.
So Joe has to watch her father die.
Oh,
Like that's
God.
one of the earliest memories
Just
of her
let go of
childhood.
the door.
Yeah, I like the man. I mean, and I never understood it as a kid. I was like, just stay the away from the door
Yeah.
because like Joe and her mother were okay. Like back where they were. I just really don't feel like the dad needed to be up there holding the door shut. He should have been. He should have stayed down in the deep in the cellar and just tried to hold on to his family there.
Well, maybe
And
he's like a good old boy, and he wanted to really show him how to protect.
well,
something.
see, sometimes your arrogance can cost you.
Yeah, he should have tightened those bolts on that door.
So anyway, they skip ahead. I don't know how many years later. I don't even think they say. They just say it's
Oh,
present day.
that's a great point. They don't spoon feed you by like, it's not a fade into like little Joe to older Joe's face. It's not a X amount of years later. It's just they assume you're smart enough to realize, oh, this is the same lady. She's grown up now.
Yeah.
I love when movies don't spoon feed you and you just kind of have to figure it out.
And they start out. Then we see Bill Paxton's
Rest
character,
in peace.
and his name is Bill in the movie
Oh
too.
man.
So we see him and his wife Melissa. They're driving out to find to meet up with Joe so she can sign the divorce papers. How awkward is that? You take your current fiance with you to sign divorce papers with your ex-wife or your current wife or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like he goes out there and he's sort of got this attitude of like, well, I don't need these people anymore. You kind of wonder like what happened. Did he say like F you guys and leave the last time he was there? Because he's kind of like he's there. He's got a new job. He's a meteorologist now. He's not one of these storm chasers. But as soon as he gets there, he starts like loving it again and going,
Oh, I miss it. I miss the
kind of a
grind.
mistake.
And like, and it is kind of implied that, but not to get ahead of ourselves here, but it is implied that Bill had a lot to do with the Dorothy system, like him and Joe worked on it, and then he left, and then like Joe carried on the work with it, and
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it was implied that she like finished it. I don't know. They had that little moment together,
But
but
she didn't tell him. She waited for him. She lured him there.
oh, that's right, because she was like, "This is about Dorothy, isn't it?" And he's like, "What about her? She's here." I remember when we, first seeing it, I was like, "Oh, is it their daughter? Their daughter?"
Oh,
And then lo and behold, it's the machine Dorothy, which was based off of a real
really?
machine. Yes, it was called Toto though. The actual machine was called
Oh, okay.
Toto from Wizard of Oz, and I can't remember what exactly it stands for, but it's like Totable something
Some
something.
kind of
But
acronym,
it's a
sciencey.
real thing, folks. Look it up. Toto.
Yeah, because I remember that was one of the thoughts I had as a kid watching this the first time. Like, that seems totally plausible. It's cool to find out that it is, you know?
The Joe's people are like, there's a something something breaking off. We gotta go chase some naders, and so they're like, oh well, these guys will be fine without me. Bill's walking away, and then oh, lo and behold, he forgot to sign the divorce papers, so he's
Yeah.
got to go with them
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah, and he's got to hang out with his ex-wife. Well, I guess it's still technically his wife throughout
That
the movie.
it is still they are very much
Legally.
married. And yeah, so she's like, "Oh, so hey, what's up? Did you change your mind, Bill?" And he's like, "Yeah." And speaking of, what's Jonas doing here? Now, Jonas, folks, Jonas is Carrie Elwes, and he shows up. Now
Justice
he
for Jonas.
yeah, he is the I don't know what they're not evil scientists, but
Well, for the purposes of the movie, they are portrayed very like. If you notice, they have their own Dorothy, which they imply that they stole. Only theirs are little squares, which is a great nod to them being squares, and the fact that if you join that team, you're going to get drug tested.
oh,
You join
for
Joe's team,
sure.
no, they're not. They don't care about any of that. They got it on deck.
And they're driving their sinister all black vehicles, matching black vehicles,
Yeah,
to really drive home the fact that they're the bad guys.
yeah, but
But
it seems like they just have a better budget, really. I mean, why don't they just hire all the older storm chasers? I mean, that seems like a good deal.
it's like I feel like if you guys could put aside your petty differences and just work together, we could have a faster response time
Yeah,
for But
or like
screw the
coordinate.
people. It's all about your egos.
Yeah.
Look at okay. So when Bill is attaching Joe's like radio to her while they're in the car.
Yeah, that's
Was that not like a heated sexual moment there? Like you could cut it with a knife, the tension.
oh,
And his wife or his new fiance, bear in mind, is like right in the back seat while he's
yeah.
doing this. And you just know she's not cool with this.
No,
I mean,
but
she is a therapist. She's got to be cool and all, but she's not cool with it.
no, and some of this seems intentional, like shove it in her face or something. She's one of the characters in this movie that really kind of gets a raw deal because she didn't ask to be part of a tornado thing. She didn't even know that he was really a storm chaser.
She
She
just thought it was a metaphor.
thought it was chasing tornadoes is a metaphor. You know, I read that originally they wanted Laura Dern, and I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Oh, Laura Dern is great. I'm a huge Laura Dern fan.
Apparently, the director he insisted, like he told the studio, "I'll see whoever you want to see, but it's going to be mad about you. It's going to be her for sure."
That's right. I did see that. Yeah, and they actually kind of took a chance on her because she hadn't really
Yeah,
done film like she was Mad About You star.
she's since gone on. Hasn't she won an Oscar?
I,
I think she did. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure that she won an Oscar. Like she's a great actress.
an
Gives
Oscar?
off sort of like a Ripley kind of vibe, or
Yes,
like
Helen Hunt won the Academy Award for Best Actress for As Good as It Gets
oh,
in 1998.
As Good as It Gets. Nice.
Wow.
Greg Kinnear and Jack Nicholson. You know, he's in this movie in a scene. Jack Nicholson.
What?
Yeah, a little
Oh,
twister trivia.
that's right.
He is technically on there.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. Watching this again, watching that scene, the tornado comes in where there's a outdoor viewing of a drive-in theater of The Shining, Stephen King, and as his face is coming through the door, the tornado comes through the thing, and so there's like a blending of like all the pieces of
Oh
debris
yeah,
in the
that's
wind
right.
and Jack Nicholson's mean face, you know.
I actually,
it's good.
I heard around the time that this movie came out, a bunch of like real stories of people being in a theater and the tornado hit. Like
Yeah, I think I heard something like that too.
I don't know if it was like Tall Tale or whatever from the '90s, but I really believe it happened at least in a couple places. I mean,
Man,
I mean,
I also
statistically, it has to happen,
I
right?
also heard that in the same year at different showings of Independence Day, there were real alien invasions. Just to coincide.
Okay.
Yeah, just no. Yeah, I heard that there was one. They weren't showing it, showing Twister at the moment, but it had been playing there, and Twister hit it. That's pretty cool. Well, not cool. I shouldn't say that. Interesting. It's very interesting. Very exciting.
So once Bill and Joe reunite, and they go through the first like tornado chase where they wreck into the bridge and the
Yeah,
ditch, and then they
they have
have
to
to,
hide. Yeah.
yeah, and you see afterwards Jonas's people pass by, and they're like, "Oh, you're not even going to stop and help? What the?" And it's
I
like,
can see
well,
they were
yeah, and they are kind of the competition, so
okay.
let's screw them. They're not dead, so we'll yeah. And so as far as like since this film was like filmed shot in Oklahoma, do you recognize any of the film locations?
I mean, yes and no. Everywhere is recognizable, and also nowhere is, because that's how Oklahoma is. It's just long, flat. It looks like when they recycle stuff in a video game, it's like, oh, I've seen this exact same bush before. Like they just ran out of stuff to put in Oklahoma. So
I gotta say, like and I've lived here most of my life. I didn't recognize a single location. But do you think that mattered to me as a kid? Hell no. I didn't care. I knew because of the local news and all that was covering it that they are here. They're in town and they are shooting in Oklahoma, and that's
yeah,
all that mattered to me.
and it was in Wakita, which I thought for the longest time was not a real town. I thought it was like in Terminator 2, they had Pescadero in place of Atascadero. I thought Wakita was probably a stand-in for a name that was like close, but no, there's an actual Wakita. That's awesome.
And I believe that's actually where they have a Twisters museum there.
Yeah, I want to go there. I want to visit the ditch where Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton almost got hepatitis. They had to get that. The scene you were just mentioning, they were worried because it was like dirty water, so they gave him a hepatitis
Oh,
shot.
that's right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did hear about that.
better safe than sorry.
Oh man, it's so just talking a little bit more about the movie. Well, we're kind of fast forwarding. We're going to be all over the place, folks. But okay, so after they meet, they go in the like that land bridge with the
Yeah,
water, and then they see the twins, and then the cow.
we got sisters, and then the cow. The cow's probably the biggest. I don't know, maybe the biggest moment of the whole movie. It's probably the one that was like when any of these stars would go on Jay Leno to promote the movie. This is going to be the clip they're going to show.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's like cow,
We got
another cow.
another cow. We got a cow.
Actually, I think that was the same one.
I think maybe you were telling me that there were real stories of them grabbing cows and finding them later, and they were okay somehow.
What?
And
I don't.
somebody told me that they've once historically found like a guy's cows 100 miles away or something, and
Oh
they were fine.
wow!
So I
From a
guess it's
tornado?
yeah. So it's like possible for the tornado to pick you up and rip you to pieces, but it's apparently also possible pick up a cow and set it down 50, 100 miles later, and it's
Just
fine.
place them down nicely.
That's the tornado is not like a straightforward monster. It's so random. That's why in real life they're so scary, and in this movie, in this movie they growl. Each one has a different growl. I love it. Some people said that's cheesy, but it's implied that sort of implied that the original tornado was like after her, and it's like maybe still after her in some way.
And that's
Like
why
it's
it could
great.
miss this house and miss that
Yeah,
house and come after you.
yeah, yeah.
But after the double tornadoes and then the one of the like my favorite songs in the whole movie, Long Way Down, and I don't think I'll make it on my
That's a
own.
good song. Yeah.
Yes, I loved that song. And then you know where they went after that. Aunt Maid's for that
Food,
breakfast.
food, food.
Food.
If you notice when Seymour Hoffman is saying food, to me it looks like he's miming. You guys can't see because we're on radio, but it looks like he's miming holding a joint. Maybe that's just
Yeah.
what's in my soul, but that's what it looks like.
And then they cut to possibly the greatest breakfast ever made in a movie.
Oh, it was great.
Oh,
Giant steaks. It looked like everybody got a steak. And
jeez.
Bill Paxton's new fiance, they're just loading her plate up
Oh
with
yeah,
food.
like mashed potatoes, and then like Meg's her famous homemade gravy, just piling it on, and you could tell she's probably not gonna finish all that food.
Oh man, and then she gave them tons of leftovers too when they left.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I love the contrast in the two Storm Chasers teams. Princess Bride's team is like so square, literally square. Like I mentioned, their Dorothy is square. Um, and Bill Paxton and Joe's team, their team is so cool. Each one's got a cool personality. You imagine they're probably like some disgraced scientist that maybe got kicked out for smoking weed or something, or being too into tornadoes or something. Like that's what really gives it a lot of heart. I really like Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, and
I
I kind of hoped he would, like in the sequel, he would get with Bill Paxton's, like he'd be with his fiance. She was really impressed by all the suck zone talk.
I remember on Jonas's team, Princess Bride team, one of the guys in his group, and he's like basically a glorified background actor in this, but his name is Abraham Ben Ruby, and I recognized him from like this old '90s show called Parker Lewis Can't Lose,
Mm.
and he was like one of the main guys in that. So to see him in Twister in like an almost background role kind of blew my mind.
Dang,
Cause as a kid, like when I saw people on TV, I assumed they're all rich and famous.
I mean they are.
I'm
They're just working you like when Dusty Rhodes worked you about that accent. They're all rich. They're all mega rich.
telling you, brother.
No, I definitely I know what you mean because I had that kind of thought too. It's like if a camera graces you, your house is just made out of gold now. I don't know what to tell you. Like there's no other explanation. You're famous. You're like a king if you're even been in a commercial at that age.
So this might be a sensitive subject for some of our listeners, and I apologize if it is, but um, do you get the vibes from Joe that she kind of is like self-destructive? I don't want to say like Shmua Schmeidel, but like
Oh
like
yeah,
because of the way I'm talking like after they leave Meg's and they go back out on a run, there was another tornado. You know the one that like started back building. They chased it, then it went away, and then they were like, "Oh my God, it's back building!" And they almost get Dorothy off the truck, but it doesn't end up happening. And
yeah,
then Bill and Joe had that moment where he's like, "What are you doing, Joe?"
yeah. 'Cause
Like
she's got like a death wish.
yeah, it's like, what do you do? You're gonna kill yourself, Like you still have me though, Joe. All while Melissa, his
Oh, they can hear
current,
it. Yeah.
yeah. But did you feel like she kind of had like a death wish or
Yeah,
something?
I'm honestly really I'm really glad that you mentioned that because I did have that thought watching it because she's kind of like, well, she's with this kind of like crew and they're sort of like low lives and her ex-husband or wants to divorce her and here he comes with a new pretty lady and he's gonna be a TV meteorologist and she had a death wish. She feels like she's kind of a loser. That's what I got from it is like I'm glad to see them together at the at the end. Spoiler alert. I'm glad they were meant for each other. He's not meant to be, in some office. He needs to be out on the road with the twisters, man.
Yeah,
This
he can't
Oklahoma
have
skies.
he can't have losers like those square asses making fun of him. I really
Yeah.
like your weather report.
Yeah.
Dog, I would have punched you right in the fucking mouth if that were me.
How dare you say you like my professional job that I probably make good money at?
Okay, and so after the crash out from her, I think that's when they finally go to that hotel near the drive-in,
Yeah.
what you were talking about, and she's kind of cooling down. She finally signs the divorce papers,
Yeah.
because they just had that talk
Yeah.
where
It's the inevitable. Got to do it.
he basically, said, "I'm still in love with you." So, naturally she's like, "Well, this is the perfect time to sign the divorce
Yeah.
papers." But yeah, so they're chilling at their little thing, trying to figure out stuff. Melissa's sitting lonely by herself in the hotel room, kind of like, twirling her wedding ring on and off her finger a little,
Yeah.
watching the news. The news is kind of in the background, and then you start to casually notice the wind pick up a little.
Yeah.
Everybody's eyes start darting around, and their little spidey senses for tornadoes start to pick up. And the next thing you know, uh, and huge like F4 tornadoes ripping ass through the drive through or the
Oh,
drive in.
I guess I didn't notice that it builds like that because yeah, the very last tornado is the F5. So
Yeah,
I
they
get
go through the whole Vegeta scale or
yeah.
whatever.
Vegeta like Dragon
I
Balls
think
or
it's a
something.
fajita scale.
Oh, okay, this is extra hot, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I guess I didn't even think about that, but yeah, isn't that really that's like good writing or something? It's good something, good filmmaking. Where you go from a slow build to a huge.
Yeah, because at one point, he drives through the house, like a house like gets in the middle of the highway, and he's like, "I think we're going in."
Instead
And
of
it
just
was,
stopping the car,
yeah.
not driving through a home that have people in it. Probably does have people in it.
He like drove up upstairs at one point. I don't know. It was just a weird
Yeah,
visual.
it looks totally impossible, like how that would even happen. But
But if
whatever.
you remember earlier in the film, he says like something about F4 is good. 4 will fairly like relocate your house fairly efficiently or something like that. And lo and behold, the F4 throws a fucking house in the middle of the road.
Oh
So
wow, I guess I didn't catch that either. That's pretty
a
good.
little callback to it.
Yeah, I watched the behind the scenes thing when they drove through the house, and the director was like, "Yeah, it's definitely ridiculous. You would never do this, but whatever. It looks cool."
I love they used a lot of practical effects in this.
So much practical effects. Did you know that the big tanker truck that it gets blown around? It's not a real tanker truck. I thought they just dropped a real one, but they said it was so heavy they had to make one out of like fiberglass or something. It's like wow, you made a truck
Yeah, that's
just so it'd be lighter. Wow.
some like people that work in films, like some like the people that construct sets together, all that stuff, like set decks and all that. There's some amazingly talented people
Oh,
out
like who
there.
would have thought that for the hail scenes we should use frozen milk so it'll show up? Like that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's really smart. And they got a jet engine from the what is it? The airplane graveyard out in like Nevada.
Oh, that's right for the wind effects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the first one they tried to sell him was a smaller one, but he was like, "No, no, I want that huge one. I want that
And
really huge one."
apparently they couldn't hear each other on set at all, so he had to like make up his own sign language that people also didn't understand.
Yeah, people were saying I didn't really notice it because it's done so well, but apparently almost like so much of the dialogue is ADR'd in because of the wind on the day.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But rewatching it, honestly, like even looking for it, it's hard to even kind of tell. They did such a good job putting this movie together.
Speaking of them talking, not a crazy like Oklahoma accent, or like in films, especially with Hollywood, they have a habit of
Yeah,
if you're talking about an Oklahoman, they like yuck it up, and you either have like a really thick a yuck
yeah,
redneck accent, or it's just they never do it right. But I thought in
yeah.
this movie they kind of like nailed it.
That's something that's always bugged me. Being from Oklahoma, I'm sure people have probably thought this too. If you're from Oklahoma or Kansas or Alabama, in modern times, there's not really an accent. People say that everyone changed their accents because of Chandler from Friends because everyone watched it, and we just picked up kind of from media picked up a better a non-accented way of speaking, and yeah, this movie really shows that there's not really any accents. There's maybe one or two, maybe from the guy on the TV at the beginning, but not really. And that's one thing that always bugged me about The Walking Dead is the guy has a redneck accent, and it's like, well, why would he need one? And he just talk like a. Most people don't. They have regular accents in places like that now because everyone watches the same TV programs.
Exactly.
So yeah, good points for this movie because the redneck accent is one of the last okay stereotypes you can really ham it up about. or more politically correct. We can't really do that with other stuff as much. But the hillbilly ones, you still can for a while. So
they're the lowest common denominator. You can
yeah,
still make fun of them.
yeah, we can still watch the Family Guy episode about the South and laugh for a little while longer. But yeah, Twister, even though it's Oklahoma, it's not Oklahoma.
Yes.
It's like that's why like I'm so glad it's the biggest movie about Oklahoma kind of in pop culture, and it's also like not a stereotype. It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, as far as disaster films go, I kind of rank it up there. If not at number one, I mean it's definitely top three for me.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, it's,
in the disaster film genre.
yeah, I mean, it's no Day After Tomorrow or that one's a ridiculous one. I'm trying to think of some other ones that were actually halfway good or realistic, even though this one has.
I mean, I loved Armageddon. I mean, I don't know
Oh,
how
yeah, yeah,
realistic
that's a
it
good
is to deep core drill a comet or whatever, but
Yeah.
asteroid. But
Well, for the most part, this movie, other than they hammed it up and added some stuff for the movie, but for the most part, this is pretty grounded. I mean, really.
yeah, they don't have to like. What I mean, the great thing about terrifying F5 tornado is that you don't really have to make up a whole lot of bullshit to like make it grandiose. It's a terrifying tornado, like the finger of God, quote unquote.
Yeah. Yeah, and the director being a foreign-born person, when you watch the behind-the-scenes stuff, he seems so interested in like Oklahoma Midwest weather, and that just makes me smile. It's like, oh, cool.
I bet it blew his mind being here.
He was talking about filming, and he was like, the weather changed so often, then he's like, they would have to do multiple setups depending on.
Yeah, because they filmed during tornado season.
Yeah, he insisted because they said that they wanted to film some of it in Canada and L.A., and he was like, no, we must go to where they are.
It's a great
Hell
impression,
yeah.
by the way.
It's perfect.
So okay, after they're at the drive-in and they get their asses handed to them,
They have to hide in one of those Jiffy Lube
yeah,
under the car holes.
yeah, the auto shop, whatever that's called, the pit,
Yeah.
and so then they once they gather themselves, I think it's like Dusty or is that his name, Rusty or Dusty?
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, he informs them it looks to hit Wakita head on, and that's where Aunt Meg is.
That's where they just were, because see, that's another kind of really smart implying that it's
chasing her.
Yeah, it's
oh my
after 'em.
god! Wow.
It hits the one place they were just felt safe at.
And now it's like, hey, we got Aunt Meg, come and get me.
Yeah.
Wow, I never thought about that.
And this is kind of like the last scene, like before Ripley takes on the alien queen. She's going to get locked and loaded. They're like, "All right, we're gonna get this son of a."
That scene's coming up after she gets Meg. I'll tell you which scene that is. Okay, so yeah, they cut to Meg. They show Meg's like wind chimes going crazy. I believe Meg's actually watching. I don't know what movie it might be, like Tulsa or Oklahoma or something, like whatever she's watching on her movie. I can't remember, but I think it's like an Oklahoma reference. So the tornado wipes Meg's house out. The gang, Bill and Joe and them, they meet up. They go to Wakita. They pull Meg out of the house just in time to watch it collapse completely.
Yeah,
Oh, and they got the dog out.
Oh,
By the
yeah,
way, they
yeah,
got
yeah.
the dog out. Moses or whatever his name is, and then Meg has a talk with Joe. Like, you've been chasing these things your whole life. It's what you do. You need Joe. We didn't have any warning. You need to go out there. You need to fix this.
Yeah.
Like, only you can do it, Joe. She gives her a hell of a pep talk.
It's like you walk up right up to that Twister and you chunk that whiskey bottle right at it.
And it will never hit the ground.
It's a good speech.
Joe doesn't go to the hospital with Aunt Meg. The ambulance
Just gotta
pulls
keep
away.
fighting.
The ambulance pulls away, and it reveals that Joe stayed behind. And Joe is just in a trance right now. Bill walks up to her, starts talking to her, and she's not even paying attention. She's in a trance, and she's like, "I know how we can make Dorothy fly."
Oh, yeah.
And
This scene makes my hands hurt.
And Bill, he looks forward, and they're looking at Meg's her wind
Metal
chimes
and stuff. Yeah, wind chimes and like sort of like on par with like lawn jockey stuff where it's like spinning.
weather vane or something.
Rooster with a spinning thingy and
Anyway,
You guys know what we're
they
talking
see it, and the wheels start turning in their head, and they're both just like, yes, of course. And then it cuts to them like, we need every can you can find in the
But only a
area.
Pepsi.
Yeah, only if it's Pepsi and Mountain Dew, Pepsi related.
Yeah.
And they get all these cans and just start breaking them up, cutting them down, and
Oh.
they make little like, what would you call those, propellers?
Yeah, like little, so when the air hits them, they'll get sucked up. The part about this that I did not notice until this last watching is, and this will make your hands hurt. They all have bandaged and bloody hands because they're implying that they're having to like jury rig this together in a matter of a couple hours or whatever, and they've cut their hands a lot
Oh
because it's
yeah,
really hard work.
aluminum cans. That
Ah.
slices you, man.
Yeah, that makes my hands kind of throb a little bit right now because you can imagine them doing this for hours and it's like, okay, I got a little cut, no big deal. I'll just keep going, and then another one, another one, another one.
Oh, we do need to mention that Melissa kicked Bill's ass to the curb after the whole
She did.
drive-in thing. She was like,
It's
"Look,
pretty-
bro."
She was pretty nice though about it.
She's like, "Bro, I thought all that tornado chasing it was a metaphor for something. I didn't know you were really doing it, and I didn't know you were still in love with your wife.
Yeah.
You could have told me that before you brought me along on this like worst day of my life. I've died almost like 3 different times.
Yeah, and she wasn't dressed for it at all. I think she was in heels.
Yeah, she was definitely in like business
Yeah.
clothes.
She
so.
was not prepared. She was probably told, "Hey, listen, I'm just going to pop in for a second. We're going to sign these papers and go." It wasn't, "Hey, you're going to be riding shotgun, seeing deadly tornado monsters," but that's what it turned out to. Hey, you got to be down to ride or die. If you're dating Bill Paxton, you got to be ready for monsters, robots, acts of nature, whatever, man.
Okay, and so we've established that they got mega, and they're putting the propellers on the little
Slicing their
gimmicks
hands up.
now,
Yep.
and so they got only, I think, 2 more Dorothy's left,
Yeah.
and so they get really close on this next one, where with the propellers on, but I believe a telephone pole ends up knocking off Dorothy out onto the street, off the back of the truck,
Yeah.
and the pack gets wasted.
Yeah.
And then they have one last chance, and that's the one where they're chasing it, and not only them but Jonas, Carriella's character, the Princess Bride
Yeah.
guy, they're both chasing the same one. And
Instead of
then-
working together, they're
yeah, they're still competing. And then I think it was Joe or Bill 1 notices that it's starting to shift,
tried
and
to
it's
warn
going towards Jonas. And so they try to warn him. They try to warn him several times.
even though they're enemies
Even-
and they stole their design, they still try to tell him, "Hey, look out! The thing's coming your way." But they don't listen because they're arrogant, and it's a gruesome, straight up gruesome death.
And even Eddie was driving the car, and he's like, maybe we should listen to him. They would never put us in harm's way.
Yeah.
He was right. And he's like, no, you keep your damn foot on the pedal and you stay at this heading. And lo and behold, what happens? Like, what was that thing? It was like a whole, it looked like one of those things at rock shows that, they put,
Oh, like a sort of a
Like-
piece of not scaffolding.
yeah,
but
not scaffolding, but like, I can't remember the word for it. But,
like imagine you're setting up a stage. Imagine Garth Brooks is on stage and it's like a 4-cornered thing. It's like one of those metal corners just goes. Oh, it's horror. It's
Final
oh.
Destination style, like before Final Destination was out.
It is a gruesome death. And Bill Paxton behind the scenes stuff said that he wished that he could do a really gruesome like horror movie version of Twister. So if you can imagine that last kill like all throughout the movie, that would be his version of it, I think.
I mean, it goes straight through the driver's side window.
It just keeps going. It's like going through butter. It
Through
just
the guy. Then, I mean, the tornado picks the whole vehicle in the air and just throws it down like it's nothing.
yeah.
Bill gets upset, throws the CB. He's mad. Joe reassures him, there's nothing you could have done. You tried. And then they notice now they're in the path of the storm.
Well, it
and
smells them now.
yeah. it noticed Joe, and it's like, oh, there's the girl I've been after this whole movie.
Yeah.
And it starts chasing them. So they go run through, or they drive through like a cornfield.
Oh, and let me tell you real quick. Do you? I didn't see this when I watched it last, but apparently there's a guy like an extra, or maybe just somebody from the town, who's they say he's naked, but they said you can only see him from the waist up. Stand in that scene, standing in the background. You can like see him for a split second.
There's another scene where they're it's way earlier in the movie where they're driving through the cornfield, and they go out and almost run into Jonas's team.
Yeah.
Remember, there is this weird guy in the background of it, like he's just standing in the field, and it's just so random. I don't know if
That's
it's a
weird.
crew member that just like didn't make it out of the shot or whatever, but yeah, I saw on YouTube somebody like pointed it out, and they were like, "This is so weird. Go back and watch.
That's kind of like
It's
a
there."
Wizard of Oz myth, thing in the
Or
background.
like 3 Men and a Baby or
Oh
whatever
yeah, there's
that
a
had
ghost in the background.
yeah, I think it ended up being like a cardboard cutout of something, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so they drive their vehicle, and the plan is they're just gonna activate Dorothy and just drive the truck straight into the tornado and jump
At the last
out
minute.
of the truck. Yeah, out of the
Yeah.
of course, because that's smart.
That'll work for
That
sure.
that leaves you. I don't know. I mean, at least it puts you in coasting distance of that tornado, that F5. But anyway, so they jump off, they let it ride through. Dorothy takes off finally,
Yeah, what a
and
cool scene it activates.
everything works out. Their plan finally works, and immediately their team starts getting data in, and they're like, "Oh, it's lighting up. Dorothy's on fire, baby. It's going."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh shit, we're already getting stuff, guys." It's heading right towards you. You got to get out of there. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, because it looks like that's going to be the end of the movie because they show that the computer screen lighting up. They show an image on the computer screen of a tornado with all
Yeah.
these multicolored, and they play the music, the swelling music. You're like, all right, well, they've defeated the monster.
Yeah.
But no, he's back.
He's coming for a vengeance. And so now they are in a foot race with the tornado.
Which they win. No big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, they're good.
Of course they do. And anyway, so the first refuge they find is a barn. They
Yeah.
go in, and it's apparently the Leatherface's barn because they walk in and there's like sickles and all just every sharp
Yeah.
farming equipment you could think
Pitchforks,
of.
shovels, all kinds of junk.
So they're like, Jesus, we got who the hell lives here? We got to get out of here. And they run and find what would you call that last little, like it was like a little
Is it a pump house? Is that what they
yeah,
call
maybe,
that?
yeah, like a pump house where a well would be or
It's
something.
like a shack with a pipe in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But the pipe goes way down because they anchor themselves to that.
Yeah, luckily the pipes go down at
Yeah.
least however much Bill said.
Yeah.
And luckily he had his leather belt on him. so
Well, I
he
mean,
could
it's a
just
strong belt. Yeah.
like tie. So in the very the climactic end of it,
Looks beautiful.
they strap themselves with wasn't a belt, but it's a leather gimmick we'll call. They tie themselves together and to this pole that's down in the ground, and they get an F5 tornado comes right over the top of them.
Yeah, and there's this beautiful scene where they're in the middle of it. They're in the donut hole of the tornado.
Yes.
That's what it's
and
called.
their
It's
legs are up in the air being sucked up,
technical.
but they're still being held on by this like one little leather strap. As would happen
Yeah.
in reality.
It's not gonna break. Tornadoes, they can't touch leather.
It's leather.
If you built your house out of leather, it
Yeah,
couldn't
when
get
they
you.
had this problem. So yeah, they survive as people do in F5s out in the
Just,
open.
yeah, just with the belt. That's all you need.
You get to see it. It is a great scene, I do have to say. It's,
The movie totally is. It's got a lot of cornball moments, but it's like it's so much fun that you're not really gonna look down on it, or at least I didn't.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's totally cornball that they survived an F5, but it was really cool, actually. It was really, really cool.
And so now that we're here at the end, once the tornado passes, the two lovers survive and they share a kiss.
Yeah, which is really cool, but also rewatching it, it's like, oh, whoever's house that was is just totally destroyed, and the team pulls up and they're like, woo,
Yeah, they're all
woo.
cheering. I'm sure that family appreciated it.
Yeah, they pull
They're
back
like
a little
coming
bit.
out of their cellar. They see their houses in shambles. It's had all the like the outing is just ripped off.
Yeah.
But hey, the house, it didn't take the house. It fucking took the whole outside of it.
Yeah, it's a solid movie the way it's put together, the way that it builds.
So what would you give it like out of a 1 out of 10? Let's just say in movies in general, and then we'll get into like disasters.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually. Yeah, because as far as just all around movies, it's not really one of my favorites. I respect it and it's super well made. I'd probably give it I'd give it a solid 7 out of just general movies. Because as far as the disaster movies like this go, this is probably one of the best. Um, but as far as disaster movies, this might be the best. Maybe like Armageddon might be better because it's bigger scale. Maybe,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you. As far as disaster films, it's definitely in my top three. And as far as movies go, it's not in my top 10 or anything, but it's a great Oklahoma movie.
It really is. As far as like cool Oklahoma movies go, and we're going to be reviewing a bunch of them here on this channel. But like, there's a bunch of them I haven't seen. But out of the ones I have seen, yeah, Twister's the tops, man. It's probably the biggest, kind of pop culture one. That's for sure.
And we're not just gonna cover what are these box office movies.
No.
We're gonna cover indie movies as well. I know we have a list, and we're gonna go through it and decide what we think might be the most interesting or fun ones to talk about. And we're also up for suggestions. So if you guys listen to this and you like it and you want to hear more, we're always open to suggestions. You can. I'll definitely leave information for you to get a hold of us.
Yeah. You want to email us and suggest some stuff, or just tell us that you don't like us.
Yeah,
Whatever.
whatever. We got thick skin. We can handle it.
Yeah. If you want to tell us all about how we don't understand the suck zone and we're wrong, that's
Yeah.
cool. Tell us. We will. One thing, a quick thing I want to mention here, quick that I almost forgot about was there was 2 movies after this came out that were kind of considered sort of homages, rip-offs.
No, they were knockoffs. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the TV film.
Yeah. Well, there was one called Night of the Twisters,
Yes.
which is actually considered like a good one, even though it's like low budget or whatever.
I remember that one too. Yeah.
It's based off like a true story. Some night in Kansas, one night
Wait,
they had like 10 twisters.
Is that the one where they also went in the middle of a tornado? Because I saw one that was like a just for TV film, and they literally ended up inside the tornado.
I don't know if it's that one. This other one has Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness, and it is called Tornado. And I really want to see it because apparently it is just a straight up bootleg of this. It is just like almost some of the same shots. Obviously not the same budget, but I love Bruce Campbell, so I'll watch that anyway. Even though it seems like, why would you do that?
Well, we appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much. We are going to keep pumping these out every week. And just give us your feedback. We are very open to it. And we would love to have some guests on in the future to come and talk to us and just have a good time.
Because this is a growing thing, Oklahoma filmmaking. Like it's not going to be a one-time thing, or they filmed this one movie here and that's it. Like there's apparently a whole growing industry that I'm just learning about in Oklahoma. So we're gonna have a lot of movies that were filmed here that we're gonna be
Absolutely.
able to cover, and hopefully some with like some indigenous native voices and stuff. I think that would be really cool. For Killers of the Flower Moon and some ones like that. I think would be really interesting to cover.
And for everybody listening at home, be sure to tune in to FX September 23rd for the new show, The Lowdown.
Yeah.
Shot entirely here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Starring Ethan Hawke, Keith David, Jenny Triplehorn, Tim Blake Nelson. There's a whole star-studded cast.
Man, that's a stacked cast.
And it is going to be amazing. And it's brought to you by none other than co-creator of Reservation Dogs, Sterling Harjo.
Ooh, nice. I like his
So
work.
definitely going to be. We might end up talking about those episodes too as well. Who knows? But thank you guys so much for tuning in to our first episode of Oklahoma History and Film, and we will see you next time.